We're live! Hey, good evening everyone. How are we? Australian early birds. Hello Russ, hello Azure, and hello Hibiki Ryuga. How are we this evening? A bit of a late start tonight, and I'm just jumping straight in, and we're just continuing with what we were working on yesterday. Hopefully you can hear me. Can I see my mic level? Yep, my mic is on. We should be good. Phew. Yay, right. We are in the Crater Lakes, which is just... What do we got? We got the Rocky Desert that way, and the Northern Forest that way, and the Pink Forest up there, and most of the rest of our bases kind of are in that direction. But we're here because there are 3 pure coal nodes in this area, and I am about to run out of fuel. We're using 2 of the pure coal nodes to get 2 belts of 480 to drive 32 coal generators at 200% overclock each. So we are generating 150 megawatts per coal generator. So we are producing about a cool 4,800 megawatts, I think it is. Plus we have 1 alien augmenter, which is giving us an extra 10% as well. Minus, you know, the power that it takes to run all the water pumps and water generators. But this is, as you can see, doing great things for our power grid. Before we built this, our grey line was kind of bumping on top of our orange line. That's bad. So now our grey line, we have a nice big gap here to make a couple more factories before we then run out of power. And with a bit of luck, I'll be able to do nuclear power by then, because I'm trying to skip fuel power. Rain was light when I woke. Savagery night, it was a heavy rainpour overnight. We had about 50-something mils yesterday, and then about another 50-something mils overnight from midnight till early morning. That graph is depressing. Why is the graph depressing? Probably end up being like super grumpy about the laundry situation. Yeah, we've had to dig out the old dryer. Are you grumpy about the orange line not being flat? I mean, the grey line is meant to be wavy because I have geothermal generators and they generate power unevenly. So at least it's a smooth curve, which means all my coal generators are at least operating smoothly. I can't sound effect it, make believe. Well, you could, because I am disconnecting and reconnecting things. So it is possible that we will have some power outages and power jumps, but it's not going to be main grid power out. It's going to be localized if I stuff up things. Plus, you can always scare everyone else in the chat with that sound effect, because it is super useful at triggering any Satisfactory player, I think. So in the late hours or minutes of last night, we were working on a shiny bespoke wall around the edges here. We were originally going to go plain grey, just with the standard wall, but this particular grey refuses to be painted any interesting colour. So we've now made a blueprint, and we're using good old pillars and beams to do something a bit more interesting, and because it's a blueprint, we can now go overboard with detail. So we've now got a blueprint with a door in it and a nice walkway at the front here, and all these blueprints have power storage on the back. So this is a lot of power storage, or at least compared to what we had before. I've got it like a half a dozen in another plant. Lacris, good evening. How are you? How are you? So I was having some thoughts after last night, so I've got some ideas, and I'm going to start by tweaking the ones with the steel beams. I've decided I don't like the steel beam. I'm going to replace it with a normal beam, but steel coloured. That way at least the appearance of it will be more consistent, and we won't have these floating light sign things. So we're going to be doing that. I do need to fix up the door one a little bit more, because as you see, these pillars here are kind of bumping our head. So there's a bit more work to fix this blueprint up. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how it's coming out. So let's head over here, and I think that's the one that we've already got loaded into the blueprint maker, because that's the one we were working on last. Oh yes, I'd made these small pillars, but I can nudge them up a bit to make them clear the door, because currently if you walk in here, they're too close to the door. And I was super tired and getting super frustrated with these stupid pillars that weren't nudging where I wanted. So I'm going to try again now where I'm slightly less tired to get these in the position we want. Now, will they just magically nudge tonight is the first question. I think they just did. I think they just answered my question. Yes, they are magically nudging. I'm doing exactly what I did last night, and yet tonight it is working differently. Yay, nudge system. Hang on. So last night, if I pressed nudge up, it would come up this way, and if I pressed up this way, it would also go up this way. And tonight, it is actually doing two different directions, despite nothing changing at all. So we put it like that. The texture doesn't quite match on the corner, but we now have a smooth entrance here. I'm wondering if we use a fat one on the corner. No, that's going to clash entirely with the door. That's a shame. Actually, that's going to be hidden under the adjacent wall, so it won't matter. Everyone does love magical nudging. It's not magical, it's just working. Look at that. That's exactly how it should have done. I wonder if I can now rotate them by 5 degrees, because that wasn't working for me last night. Voila! Nice, even. I mean, there's a slight bit along there, but I'm not too worried about that. I could run a beam along if I wanted to patch that up. And the other thing I wanted was to replace this with a normal beam. It's interesting how you got all these new fancy beams, and I just keep coming back to the standard beam. Oh, that's right, this stupid slippery surface. It's all coming back to me now. Now, for those who use this Satisfactory VR mod, I have just today released a new alpha version. If you're interested in testing it, it is available in the mod manager. Contains a number of changes, user interface changes. That's better. So it is sticking up a bit there. I guess it's kind of raised up the hallway if I nudge it. Okay, that's not going to nudge. Okay, that's the position it's staying, apparently. So yes, I have released a minor update with a few interface changes. So most of the changes are around the wrist menus. So I've changed it so they are now more over the wrist. They used to be kind of hovering over the hand, so they're now more wrist-centered. And this left menu here, I've changed the layout. So it used to be quite wide, and I saw people struggling trying to access the stuff off to the left. So most of the tabs, I've restructured it so it is more higher vertically and less wide. So I'm hoping people can test that out and see if it is working better for them, because we have 1.2 on the horizon. Mods don't work on 1.2 yet, but when they do, I will have to stop development on the 1.1 version of the mod, and I'll be switching over to start fixing up for 1.2. Now, the problem with that is once I update the development environment or the 1.2 dev environment, it's going to be really hard to do any updates to 1.1. Basically, I would have to reinstall the entire dev environment, which is non-trivial. So I need to get this update as completely bug-free as I can make it, and then release it to the masses. You know, I'm tempted to actually skip having storage on the one with the door. Why not just use the smaller ones for the whole thing? I could use the smaller ones for the whole thing, I guess I started with the bigger ones. So I could use these small ones all the way up. I think there's a better line where these join up. And it did have a bigger crease, but that's all hidden anyway. So it's really only the seam where they join together. So I could, but... Oh, and there goes my fuel. Luckily we've got some on tap. Let's top up with that. I mean, this is a little clunky, this roof here. We could always put something across to give it more of a flat roof. Don't know how well this will work. No, that's not going to work very well. We'd have to use these. Yeah, we could do something like this to give it a bit more of a roof. Like that. Yeah, it's a bit low coming in, but then it opens up. It's fine, I think. I mean, again, we could remove these. Or turn them at an angle. I don't know how well it would nudge if I... had to do something like that. I mean, that's not too bad. There's a voice in my head that is preempting me. Love you. I was thinking of putting a light on here, yes. I could put one of these. I could put just a single long one, maybe. Now, I don't have lumen turned on, so these things don't actually emit light. But in 1.2, maybe I'll turn lumen on. So if I ever do turn lumen on, that would illuminate this area. Something is angry at me. I thought we cleared out all the hogs. Okay. Actually, I forgot to delete the... oh, no, that's right. I hadn't actually gone and raided the hard drive that's right there because I was busy needing power. There's a door, since it's a door variant. Let's remind it which directory it's supposed to be in. It is that one, right? Yes, damn wall door. We couldn't open this drop pod because it needed power, but now we have lots of spare power. Steal that. It's always delete the cable, otherwise it will continue drawing the power forever. But you can also delete them now. Usually I leave the trash around because it's scenery. And although I can delete the very loose stuff, that's an idea. And leave the big chunky stuff. The hard drive will be useful in the next phase. Just deletes the old one. Now, I was thinking rather than leaving these grey ones here, if I actually zooped that out a second to there, it would be much easier to attach the blueprint to that. Oh, this one's got a manual walkway on it. Oh. This must be one I was experimenting with. Where's the one with the door? Ah, there's too many of them. That's why. It's gone onto the second page, I think. So now we should be able to snap it onto there. But helps if it's the right way around. And that way it's actually lined up. I just need to lower it into the right place. And here we go. It occurs to me I could never be a steamer. I'd have to set it to R-rated for language. There are plenty of R-rated language streamers, Vicky. I just chose well, I don't tend to swear unless I think it's worth swearing. Like, if you hear me swear, it's usually something really bad that's going on. Sure, I can swear, but I don't see a lot of point of it a lot of the time. But you know, I got brought up in a very conservative, non-sweary family, so that helped, I guess, train me. So I don't really need to resist swearing too much. So I do aim to make this a PG-13 kind of channel. So we are deleting... Oh, that's right, I had one light lower down. We're deleting this and we're putting the other style of... But yeah, you certainly can have a very sweary streamer channel, and there are plenty of people out there who are just constantly F-bombing and everything, so you just need to flag your channel as being for mature audiences. There's certain definitions of mature. Now I'm going an unpainted finish here, which I think is the best. It's the closest to the metal. I've tried the chrome finish. Actually, the chrome finish is close. Maybe I'll just go with chrome finish. There's a carbon steel finish as well, but it's too dark. Can I get that like half a nudge higher? Let's try nudging it up by a half. No, it sticks out then. Don't like that. I don't want it to stick out the top. I'd rather have a little gap below. Little gap below it is. This means I need to repaint the one on the door blueprint as well, so I've already made modifications. For immature audiences, yeah. That says it was very sweary in my own stream, it was fine, yeah. Used to work in ag, so the language gets very coarse. Now I could make that roofy bit on these bits as well. I don't think it's worth the effort necessarily. What I will do is I will save this, and then I can build the wall one next to it. I heard that grunt behind me. You can't get up here. I'd like to see you try. So we could come in here. So that's what it would look like. And I think that's okay. I think that's enough walkway, as long as this doorway here has extra room around it. Now, I did already save that, didn't I? Or did I? I'm paranoid. Let's save it again. Look, there's damn well red there. So, changed my mind and went with the chrome finish. Good soundtrack to Planet Crafter. This is Planet Crafter music, if anyone's listening. This is one of the main tunes that kept playing every half an hour in Planet Crafter. I kind of feel we should put one under here as well for consistency. As long as it doesn't peek out the top. Oh, that peeks out the top. Is that actually coming through? No, no it's not. Excellent. Put lights here that might glow up if we later on turn lumen on. Wonder how that would look. Now I should actually take a copy of these little squares, because I've got all the rest of the signs down there in my sampler. I don't have the little square one. 5. Yes. Oh, I was going to install the beam hard hat mod. Oh well. You're going to have to move, mister. You know, if I'm going to rebuild these, it'd probably be easy just to whack one on the back here like this. You know, maybe I should just make it black to begin. No, I'm going to have to do something more because there's gaps here. So these are going to be solely per alignment. And I managed to miss. How? Pretty cool. Need to make a thin wedge foundation shape to fill in those gaps. Yeah, I mean, you can add it. You can just put a half foundation in. There's ways of filling it. It's just not particularly neat. But that's the price you pay when you're putting... making circular circles out of things that were never meant to be circles. Is diagonally nudging. Damn it. Is it the beam throwing off the angle, I wonder? Come on. Maybe if I pick it manually from the menu, it might be different. Where's my cursor? Hey, look, that worked. And that's the right angle. Lit. No, this is unlit. Feels like a very Minecraft thing to do. Yes, they are messy, just frames. They gang BM84. Hi, when you build a factory, do you build the shell first and put the machines in it later, or the other way around? I usually have a rough layout first, and then I put the machines in the layout, so I know how many machines are going to be here. And then once I've done the layout, then I'll build the walls and infrastructure and stuff around it. So I usually have a rough idea of the machine and the logistics layout first. So this one's a pretty simple design. It's like whack a circle in the middle and then have the water extractors and the generators around the outside. So this was largely controlled by the water extractors because these chew up a lot of space. And so, like, if you see the white lines down the bottom there, these two could not actually be any closer together because of their clipping boxes. So I had to start with a circle, and I had walls to snap on all the water extractors. And then the generators is a blueprint that I made earlier. So once the water extractors were in place, I went around and I put down the generator blueprint. And now I'm kind of just filling in the detail and adding some more stuff to it. Future-proof, 36 minutes late. Hey, Future, how's it going? Good evening. Now, if you move along a little bit more, Bean, I can delete this and you can carry on your merry way. Move it, move it. Look at him run. Racing Bean. Riding Bean. An old anime reference for you old people. Okay, we have a mismatch here. Something didn't nudge straight. I think this one's out of angle. It's spring and 7 degrees here. It was 5 overnight. Is that Celsius degrees? I'm assuming you've been introduced to the UK banned gunship. UK banned gunship? I don't know if I know that one. That's not looking right either. Which means that one might be wrong. The problem with attaching to that slab down there is line of sight. So what's going on here? Why is this not lining up? That looks like the right overlap there. Don't think so. This one is wrong. Why is this one wrong? Maybe I'm snapping it onto the pipe or something weird. You know, I should put these blueprints on my hotbar. It would make it much easier. That one's out of place. Yeah, let's put it on our hotbar. What do we got? We got stuff with blueprints here somewhere. 6. That's lights. 5. These are blueprints. What is that? These are plastics factory stuff. I wonder if I can get rid of these. Can make this sort of, this one can be lit, that one can be unlit, that one can be the door, and that one can be red, which is in the wrong category currently. Now we can go red, lit, unlit. So we want to delete the lit. So we should keep using this as a practice. That doesn't show the preview name. Ah. That was the right one. That's better. Now there is Symmetry. Celsius, yes, one of the recent video clips is a blend of Riding Bean and Dominion Tank Police. Oh, okay. Recent video of theirs contains Dominion Riding Bean and Tank Police? There's a new trailer out for the new Ghost in the Shell. At first I was like, ooh, and then I was like, oh, and then I was like, ah. Because Ghost in the Shell. Did I say Ghost in the Shell? Ghost in the Shell. It's old style, closer to the style of the manga, which is quite different from anything I've seen of the other Ghost in the Shell anime. So it's like, that's interesting. So it's a modern animation, but it kind of looks a bit 80s-ish. There's a new Ghost in the Shell series. I think it's a TV series. Can't see what the labels are. Maybe I should add a label feature. Unlit. So unlit is next to the door one. I hope I don't want to change these blueprints ever again. Like maybe the door one I might change occasionally. But all the other ones, I might change the red ones. I don't know about the red ones. Actually, I should have these in the bar in the order they are built. So that should be lit. And it is unlit. Okay, let's fix that. Because if it's door, lit, unlit, lit, red, basically. While we're here. You damn wall. Get over here. So that should be lit. That should be unlit. And that's the red one. I mean, I could change the background color to make it a bit more meaningful, but okay. So then it should be unlit. I'm hoping you're not to spend the entire evening working on this stuff. Although this is a shorter stream. I probably will not be staying up as late as I was last night. That kinda is a bit tiring. How's my Saturday? My Saturday has been exhausting. I streamed too late last night and then realized I forgot to take my pain meds with dinner. So I went to bed past midnight without any painkillers and did not have a pleasant sleep. So I have unfortunately spent most of Saturday being a zombie. So right now is the most awake I've felt all day. Still got lots of walls here. We should delete these. No water damage that I've noticed, although I haven't really gone outside and checked too thoroughly. It rained fairly heavily, but it wasn't like torrential at any particular time. So even though our gutters are not the cleanest or the best, I think they held up. I seem to have alternated between 2 metre and 4 metre every second one here. That's a little odd. Or I have no filter and I'm going to accidentally delete stuff. Maybe I'll try that again. So that's 4 metre. Those are 2 metres. Those are 2 metres. I think most of them are 2 metres. Vicky Ruger's pool overflowed. Ooh, no. How badly did it overflow? Was it manageable? Or did the kids just have a bigger area to swim in? Have I stuffed up this? Oh, bugger. Yeah, they're all wrong. All wrong. For one red one. Okay, so it goes lights. Should be over one. Then no lights, because the no lights is basically where the pipe is the closest. Oh, that one wasn't lined up very well. Then there's lights, the other side of the pipe. Just flows into the garden. Juggler, is that no? Oh, 0 HP. Juggler 0 HP. Geez, the FPS. Hello, hello. How are we doing today? How is the FPS looking on the stream? Should be okay. Smooth, don't get more than 80. Right, okay. So the stream you're seeing is 60 frames a second, and the game is generating 60 frames a second, but in the headset, I'm getting 120 frames a second because the headset does reprojection, which is a technique for the VR headset to get extra frames, so it gives a smoother experience because frame rate is really important for VR. But Satisfactory does not like going above 80 frames a second in any environment. So if the stream is looking smooth, then that's good. Oh, what did that snap to? Or is that just, that's probably a diagonal nudge bug. It looks trippy but cool, thanks. Looks more than 60, oh, okay. I wonder if the encode... I do have motion smoothing on as well, which reduces some of the jitter that I have in headset. So people's heads tend to move a lot and they don't realize it. And so on the stream, that can be quite disconcerting. So I do have a motion smoothing filter on as well. So maybe it's smoothing out to make it look a bit smoother than it otherwise would be. That won't add extra frames or blurriness, it's just basically interpolating the frames more smoothly. We want the door one now. It's going diagonally. You starting to bust out your kills? Awesome, awesome. That's what I like to hear. So we've got the door, then the lights. This one is the unlit wall, which is this one. And the lit wall. So Juggler 0 HP, if you're interested in the mod, if you type !mod info, it will give you a link to where to find out more information on downloading the mod, or I think it was Urine. Or you can just Google it, or look in the Satisfactory. You should, actually, Googling is probably safer. If you search for VR in the mod manager, it might find it. Yeah, I can copy structure. It's just if I copy the structure, sometimes it stuffs up the angling, so I can copy that red one from over there like that. But I find I get the diagonal nudge bug more when I copy, especially when doing circles. So now and again I'll switch back to using the selection menu. Also, I just released an alpha update that changed this menu, so I'm trying to use it more as a test, because I need to make sure it's working. Because this is still on Satisfactory 1.1, and once the modding tools are out for 1.2, I'm going to have to update my whole dev environment, and that will mean I can no longer make any fixes to the 1.1 version. So I need to make sure the upcoming release is rock solid. That doggo is stalking me again. Yes, I am the mod maker. I'm the mod author of the VR mod. So if you're interested and have any questions about the mod, I can certainly answer them for you. Whoa, and I fell in the water. Over here, I think, is where I got it out by a meter, and I'll have to readjust things a little. Yeah, these three. So Subnautica supports VR out of the box, but it's not great. But there is an extra mod you can get for Subnautica that adds full 6-off hands controls. I've tried it, but I had a 2080 video card back then, and it struggled a bit. I need to go back and try Subnautica again now that I've got a better GPU.
Incoming propaganda broadcast detected. Please seek shelter.
Thanks very much, Juggler. As Uren is biased because she's married to me. Interested in these kind of mods, and we'll ask questions after I start using them. Cool, no problem. Awesome, awesome. Way to spend a Saturday or a Sunday. Did I line that one up right? Yeah, that looks correct. So yeah, I'm selecting building things from this menu here, but there's also a radial menu here. So if you long press the A button, so I could be picking things from here, and this actually gives the title of the things too. I'm just trying to use this menu more because, as I said, I've just recently made some changes to it, and so I'm checking to make sure it's working reliably before I do a full release. Azuren is my wife, yes. Has been for many, many, many years. We have been best friends for a very long time. I'm missing a bit. No! How did I delete that without leaving a reference spot behind? Okay, so I've deleted all my foundations for this middle bit, which means I'm going to have to rerun a zoop from the middle bit if I can figure out which one is the right one. Might be actually easier to use a beam. Okay, that's that one. That would be this one here. So it would be the red one. This is probably going to enter right on the water extractor, knowing my luck. Said attach. This is why I zooped foundations originally, because they are easier to zoop than a beam is. Beam tends to like skewing off at random angles. I should be able to snap this on here and then just nudge it into position. Ta-da! That should be correct. So this is the non-lit version, which is that one. That's nudging diagonally. No, this is the lit version. And that's correct. Brandon's struggling to accept what I'm seeing here. So cool. He's a cool. I have played a lot of Satisfactory in VR. Like, I played a lot of Satisfactory before I made the mod. I had over 1,000 hours in Satisfactory. And it was when Praydog first released... Oh, crap. There's an ad break.
Incoming propaganda. Seek shelter immediately.
This is what I get when I'm too focused on just putting down these blueprints. I'm going to take a short break, people. I got 30 seconds to put down more buildings. Okay. Yeah, we're going to take a short 3-minute break. And about Praydog. Praydog released UEVR at the start of 2024. And that did the hard bit of getting the visual cameras working and controller information. So it was at that time I picked up the Satisfactory modding dev tools and I made the in-game mod with all the custom controls and hands and everything else like that. Yeah, the machines are all massive. Like, this is a lift and it's taller than me. It's like 3 meters tall or 2.5 meters tall. Anyway. Yeah, they all look massive. But it's low gravity and you have blade runners, so they don't feel as big when you can jump over them. I'm going to take a 3-minute break. We'll be back after the ad break.
Look lively, it's time to do those stretches and hydrate.
And we are back. Oops, let me just reset my view. Last of Us Gaming, always start with the factories because you need them right away. Aesthetics in the later. I agree. Even if I'm building like a large multi-stage factory, I'll usually try and get the first stages online and operational. I see people who make massive factories and they don't turn on anything until the end and then they turn it all on. That's not how I do it. I like to have stuff working. So this is fully functional. While there was some planning to lay out to begin with, I had all 32 of these generators online and generating power before I started fiddling with all the detail. Future-Proof 4 recently done my Quest 3, first time in ages, and has a new floating icons interface. The bug yourself. I don't have the new floating icons interface yet. I've seen screenshots of it, but I have a Quest 3 and it says it's up to date, and it doesn't actually have the new floating icons interface yet. I'll get everything to work and then see how to make it pretty. Yeah. I usually have like concepts for style, but the actual building of the pretty stuff, that comes after everything is functional. Okay, still testing this menu here. We want the light one next. We want the unlit one. And the lit one. Have I run out of something, or is that just clipping with something? I have run out of wire. Ooh. Oh, you know what it is? It's all these generators. all these storage units. These take a truckload of wire. 100 wire each. Okay, so I have actually chewed through my depot of wire. That's annoying. Do I have cable to actually connect them? Yeah, it's going to take a while to refill, and I think I actually gathered extra stacks so that I would have some. Do I want to just chain them all together, or should I chain them per group? Probably a bit late now. I've started. Wow. Quite a lot of them, didn't we? I'm surprised actually that we got this far before we ran out of wire. So I need to connect them together somewhere, so maybe in the middle here. I disconnect this. No, not that. Wire, please. A bit to there. And then chuck that to there. Suddenly, our battery total capacity is way down to 20%. Finding a lot of Aussies streaming around this time. It is a Saturday evening here, so it's probably a good time for Aussies to be streaming. Yeah, well, these power storages were never designed to be part of the wall here. So originally I was just going to have the old plain grey wall. You can still see them over here. I just wanted to paint that white and chuck some beams down it and call it a day. But this particular wall, I could not for the life of me get it to colour a decent colour, and I wanted it quite pale. So that's why I ended up going the blueprint route and making, more of a fancy blueprint, which ended up being good because it means I can put this part under the water with a few little lights on automatically. I can put the flooring up the back, and I kind of went overboard and put storage units on there. So yes, it wasn't actually part of the plan to have a quite large number of storage units around the edge. So it's every 5 degrees minus the doors is a storage unit. So how many we got left? Well, let's do the maths. We've got about a quarter of the map to go. So that's 90 degrees. Come on, I should be able to do this in my head. 90 divided by 5. So we've got another 18 to do probably. At 100 cable each, that's 1,800, wire, 1,800 wire. And we don't have any on us. And there's only 159 in here. So I might do
Top
a trip
Beyond
back
X
to town.
just hit a
Whoa.
7-stream watch streak. That's impressive dedication. I always come back, apparently.
Russ, thank you. Ignore if you mind the question, where in Aussie are you? I'm South Indian. Ah, okay. It's Saturday 6:20. It is currently 8:50 here. I'm on the west coast of Australia, which is the side of Australia that most people aren't on. So people like Russ are on the east coast. They're 3 hours ahead of west coast currently. So yes. Welcome back to your next. That sound effects. Yes, it triggers the whole audience. Oh, you loaded into your world and went off. Excellent. Yeah, nice, Russ. So that's the jump scare that keeps on giving because it gets all the people watching as well, or at least all the Satisfactory players. We're going to need a pile more wire, so I might as well take this opportunity to head back to town. Is there anything else I need? Let's actually go into blueprints. What did I just say? 18 left to go. So if we go... no. What happened to the... I was already on blueprints, that's why. Can I edit this field? No, I haven't added keyboard support for that field yet. I probably went... The amount of people who use this for big numbers on VR is low. It's basically for every text field, I have to do another hook the keyboard in. So if we look at the costs now, we're also low on concrete. Okay. We're right for everything else though. So maybe if we head home and get some more wire and concrete, that will help us finish this off. Send the bill to me. Yeah, Russ was the one who triggered it. So we don't actually have any other travel infrastructure out of this point. We came to this zone just because we were quickly going to chuck down a coal power station and abandon it here. So we're ziplining back to town. This playthrough I'm doing something different and I'm building up the east coast. Well, the east side of the map. So I haven't actually done many factories over this side before. I've done the south in the grassy fields. I've done the north, west, and along the west coast. And I've done the Dune Desert before. I've done a playthrough starting there. Oh, we're going to hit a rock here. Hey, you should know by now, if you're playing Satisfactory, you're going to get some jump scares. We have stingers turned on here. You're an equal opportunist. Now this is where our zipline went way off course. So I might actually run a new zipline. Nope, not that one. Might just head that way. It's actually, let's go to the space elevator because we do have an old style mall there. So let's head there. The Titan Forest here has so many stingers. It's crazy busy stinger land through here, and to say nothing of nuclear hogs. I was about to get jumped by a jump scare, wasn't I? Nice try. I mean, there's less down this way. We're kind of out of the Titan Forest here. Oh, see, the Alpha Hog just took a shot at me. Oh, good, we can connect that to there. Excellent. So there's a space elevator on a nice... I seem to have a thing for building over water, nice water areas. We have an old school mall system here, where leftover parts all get filtered in and delivered by train and sorted into different things. Oh, except for concrete. I'm going to steal all your concrete. I have not set up a delivery system for concrete because I set up the concrete factory super early into the depot, and it's near my hub and home, and I've never bothered to actually automate it delivering to this point. Everything else is, though, or should be. How much did I need? Well, that extra concrete was enough, but I really should add a train station to deliver that concrete. I could probably just pipe it across to the steel train station, actually. That extra wire should be plenty. So that's all we need. That's what we need here. Don't go to the swamp to get jumped immediately. Yes. You know, I feel the daughter has more of a chance of being one than I. 2 neurodivergent. Super clean builds. Thank you. I try and do clean builds. I can show you, I mean, some of it is not finished. Like, there's a train station here that is a bit bare bones. I haven't bothered to put architecture on that yet. Over here is our home place. And I'm trying to do a free-range train system this time. So, no foundation highways here. I have the train line weaving through the countryside. This factory here is the basics. It's not building for other factories. It's just building to go into the depot for supplies. So it's making all your iron plates and rods and AI limiters and Caterium as well, because there's AI in this area. And here we have our home hub. And that up there is an automatic sorting recycling center. And here we have the Doggo Water Fun Park. George's got some biofuel. Timmy, 2 iron rebars. Well, that'll take out a hog. Hey Lassie, where are you going? Nobelisks. Nobelisks are good. I have not automated Nobelisks yet. I've planned out a munitions factory. What? Sue's also got the biofuel? I planned out a munitions factory, but it has not been a priority yet. George, okay. These guys have moved, haven't they? Who have I missed? These two are happy to see me. Have they already seen me? You've already seen me, guys. Ah, Snowy hasn't. Snowy's got some plastic. Skippy with the slug. Good on you, Skippy. I used nearly 100 power shards in my coal power station. So if I chuck the slug in here, along with any other recyclables like animal bits and wood, then it will come out the other side here as various bits and pieces. Yeah, let's actually not update that. If I show you spaghetti, you promise your OCD will offline you in your sleep. This is phase 3, yes. So I'm on phase 3. I've done one of the project parts because I automated that for phase 2. I still have to do factories for the 2 other project parts. So that's kind of where I'm up to. But I've just done a heavy modular frame factory, and it's a pretty large one for this stage of the game. It's making 22.5 frames per minute. And that's why I needed more power, because even though I'm not using any refineries in the build, it was still pulling too much power. So I have not, while I've got technically plastic and oil and fuel, I am avoiding fuel power. So this is my concrete factory. This was built so long ago, and it really needs a bit of TLC. So all the concrete is just going in here. So I just top up here every now and again. So yeah, definitely need to top that up. Every time I do a playthrough, I end up making a huge turbo fuel power tower, and then I upgrade it to rocket fuel, and I'm fine for the entire game for power, and I've never made nuclear. So for this particular playthrough, I have not unlocked fuel generators at all, because it's too much of a temptation. So I'm attempting to get all the way to nuclear with coal power, which is why we're building yet another coal power station. So this is another station that needs a bit of a love. This is the steel production. So we're making beams, pipes, encased beams, stators, and motors in there. This is the original coal station. Again, these are 200% overclocked. So you can kind of see where the style of the current one came in. But this one's a little bit simpler. And this here is the plastics and rubber factory. And this is designed and blueprinted such that when I need more plastic and rubber, I can just build vertically. But yeah, still lots of architecture and support stuff needs to come through here. But I'm trying to make at least the factories as complete as I can before I move on to the next factory. I'm trying to avoid having floating platforms. It is actually really useful having moving hands. Like I don't, unfortunately, because of I'm using UEVR, I don't have the full capacitive touch, so I can't do finger gestures and stuff. Nest.
I admire your optimism, Dippy VR, but you only get a participation award this time round.
Yes, there are stingers
Realm
around
of
there,
Russ
but
was
it's
the winner.
daytime.
In fact, you were in position 10.
Position
Better
10,
luck next
Dippy.
time.
Ooh, that's pretty high. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, this is the basics. So as you can see, similar sort of setup here, where all the products here you can pick up. So if I need rotors I can pick up here. So before I had the central mall,
I have it
had
on record
this
that
here.
Dippy VR is an exemplary pioneer and recommend that you check out their channel.
Definitely check out Dippy if you want more Satisfactory in VR. Dippy's a crazy fool who does occasionally marathon sessions of Satisfactory in VR. So yeah, all the excess that doesn't fill the local storage goes to train, which then goes to the depot, which are to the main mall. Okay, let's go back out to the Crater Lakes now that we've picked up some concrete and some wire. And which zip line will take me there? You can see here I was checking on the coal generator blueprint before I set off. Oh, didn't quite make it. Hey Dippy, how's it going? One time was an accident, yes. Do we want to go this way? Because the new zip line should connect to here. You removed all charges from your vicinity? Oh, as in battery charges. Oh, right, okay. Because those pesky index controllers go flat after a few hours? I think 10th is actually a new record for Dippy, as far as being not first. Way, missed. There we go. Actually, I need to be on this side. I don't actually have to hold it up. One day I'll figure out how to change the relative position, so if I do this it actually pulls me up and down and then I can do chin-ups on the zip line while I'm going, but at the moment it's actually not connected. I'm just holding it up here for roleplay reasons. Index controllers last 7 hours. Oh, okay. 7 hours isn't too bad. That's about 3 times as long as the PSVR 2 controllers. Okay, here we are. And we have actually wired up these batteries now. Up to 41%. That's not bad. They were 20% when we started because of the existing batteries on the network. Zipline reflecting in the lake? Yeah, so the user interface reflects in the lake. This is I do not know how to fix this, but if you look at the HUD reflects in the lake. And I have told it no reflections, no nothing, and whatever I do, I don't know why. Unreal Engine things. Wish I could not have the HUD reflect in the lake. Yes, I was holding my hand up. Yes, I was holding my hand up like this while ziplining, just for immersion. Okay, let's get back to slapping walls down. Screen space reflections, they make no sense and can be turned only in config file. If I turn off the screen space reflections, Dippy, do I get real reflections though? So with 1.2, I have fiddled with the ini file a fair bit and tried to improve things. But I know PobCac is working on a new ini config file to optimize pretty stuff for 1.2. So once he's got that, I might start with his config file. And he's also a VR player, but I don't know if he cares about frames per second as much as I do. I have global. I do not have global illumination on. That's the wrong one. No, I do not have global illumination on at the moment. This is just the standard lighting. Mostly because of performance. I do lose about 15 to 20 frames a second if I have global illumination on. So that would drop me below that 60 frames a second quite regularly. Also, there's a lot of dithering with global illumination that really bugs me. Apparently it's a lot better in 1.2. So I'm hoping in 1.2 we'll be able to get some hardware accelerated global illumination, in which case I will be trying to turn it on. So that's why I haven't gone sign crazy, but I have got some signs. So if I do switch to global illumination, it should look a lot better. I mean, I can try it now. Like outside, it doesn't look as noticeable. It's a little more atmospheric and lighty. But you can see these are adding down light here now, and if I walk through here, that light is not giving much light. It's a little bit, but it is very grainy. Like this entire area around here is super grainy. So I'm not a huge fan of it at the moment. Options. So I'm hoping in 1.2 it's better and faster. See, now that dithering's gone. You saw the FPS drop? Yeah. Smooth bias, 0 for off, 1 for on. I can't easily get to the console while I'm in VR at the moment. Smooth bias, 0 for off, 1 for... So is it on or off? Let me see if I can get to the console. Hang on. Let me get some light back. I need to find a keyboard. Let me raise my desk a bit. Hang on a sec. I've got to fumble about here. Buttons are there. Raise desk. So if I press this, you'll see the UEVR controls, but I have an FPS readout here. So I'm currently getting 120, which is 60 plus doubled. So console key is that. And you reckon smooth bias? Is it just smooth bias or is there a prefix? Again, I can't really see the keyboard. Or was this a global illumination lumen reflection smooth bias? Is that the one? Oh, that's for reflections. Okay. Oops. Hang on. Enter. It's currently at 0. Let me turn GI back on. Again, very clunky trying to navigate that in VR. Because I don't have a normal VR keyboard as easily. Global illumination. Medium. And those lights pop on. If I open an inventory, it'll keep the camera frozen. Okay, whoops. One. Ooh. So right now my frame rate is 118, so it's actually not much below 60. Actually, let me. I've now got my FPS on without the other one. So that's dropped down to 100, so 50, 45. Seeing a bit of shimmering around the side there. You can see the dots under the water. Yeah, there's a lot of other settings to tweak, I think. There's still a lot of dithering as well. So, but yeah, the frame rate isn't too bad. Out here I'm getting about 50 frames a second. It does look really good. It's just the lighting is a bit grainy. Just wanted to check, that gave me 15 to 17 more frames a second. Oh, okay. So turning that on gives you more frames a second when Lumen is on? There is still a lot of dithering around the lights here that I can see. So this is quite dithered here, even with the smooth BIOS on. Might look better. Yeah, maybe it is better. I can leave it on for a bit and see how we go. The shiny pipe is quite shiny. Which one am I up to? I'm up to the red ones, so... Oops. That is nudging diagonally. Light coming through there is pretty cool. I tried doing some normal lights in a factory, and in VR there were some shadow artifacts that looked absolutely terrible. And so I've kind of abandoned using normal lights entirely. And that also tanked my frame rate, even just the normal in-game lights. It was a bit strange. There's something VR specific going on with the lighting there. But global illumination actually has less FPS hit and looks better than the default in-game lights. Yeah, so it does work, and there is an FPS frame hit though. So normally the frame rate is actually around 75, but because I'm in VR, it sort of caps it at 60 and then doubles it to 120, so it gives us sort of a rock solid 60. The fact that I'm dropping under 120 means it's not hitting that 60 render. Okay. Just turning off the performance. I'll just try it without the performance screen blocking my vision as we finish this bit off. It does look a little grainier overall though. It is not as crisp as having the normal lighting. And missing controls are back. Had to reset experimental features because bizarrely a toggle to hide controls or something. Recording now only goes to a maximum of 40 megabits, down from 20 megabits. Now, what are you recording again? Works on float numbers, so you can put 2, 3, or 4, but I didn't see much difference as I have locked at 60. Okay, so it can go higher than 1. Can it? I'll play around with it some more, and as I said, I kind of haven't done too much because I know 1.2 is going to probably change a lot of those settings. I would probably have to go back and tune some of my old factories as well because they're not really set up for Lumen, and so they'll be pitch black in some spaces, and there'll be some corridors that would be glaringly bright as well. So I would have to commit fully to Lumen, and I can't really do that until I've done some performance testing, but I am interested. It does feel a lot more natural lighting wise than the normal game baked lighting. So I'm definitely interested, and I've got a 5080, so and beyond a certain point Like if I drop my graphics card settings down to medium, they're on high to ultra currently. If I drop down to medium, I don't get any extra FPS, so there's bottlenecks within Satisfactory itself. So extra headroom can go towards things like lighting without too much, but at the moment there is a performance hit. You record your gameplay in the headset. I do not record gameplay in the Quest 3 directly. I have not been that brave. 1.2 seems a lot more stable than I thought it was going to be. Cool. The problem is Juggler, the obvious problem is mods don't work, and so my Satisfactory VR mod will not work at all in 1.2 at the moment, and it'll be a while before it is ready to work. At the moment, I'm waiting for the talented modding people to update the modding tools to work with 1.2. And as I was saying earlier, if I swap to the 1.2 dev tools, I can't go back to make updates to the mods for 1.1. So I have an update to the mod in the works currently, which I'm partially testing tonight. And I have to release that and make sure it's as bug-free as I can get it before updating my entire dev environment to 1.2. So it will probably be 1 to 3 months, I'd say, before this mod is fully upgraded to 1.2. Also, I'm waiting for them to fix bugs in 1.2 because vertical lifts are still busted as. And I don't have any vehicles in this playthrough, so the new vehicle pathing doesn't really do much for me. I have another playthrough that is vehicles only and no trains. So one day I'll go back and update that, but at the moment I'm trying to get through this playthrough without rushing it. How easy or hard is it to update a mod each time? Yes, well, kind of answered that already. Yeah, it depends, and it can be very varied. So when they do minor bug fixes and minor releases, usually there's nothing I need to change in the mod at all. It's only when they do a big update like 1.1 or 1.2, especially if they change the game engine. So they're changing from Unreal Engine 5.3 to 5.6. So that may change certain things that I'm relying on. Although a lot of my mod is sort of widgets and stuff, but there is a real risk that the next major version won't work at all with my mod, and that's also down to compatibility with UEVR, because UEVR, if they make changes to shaders or something, or rendering settings, or they do something differently that affects fundamentally how the game is rendered, that could make things very difficult to update. So I do not know is the short answer. I'm hoping it will be fairly straightforward, but we shall see. Then there's the process where I put it on the alpha branch and alpha testers get to test it. And usually 1.2 is still on experimental at that stage, so I try and get people in early to test it early. So if people are interested in testing a 1.2 version of the mod, join the Flat to VR Discord and keep an eye on the experimental channel there. I do also post experimental updates on my Patreon, and you don't have to be a paid member. You can be a free member and follow me on Patreon to get mod updates there. Although if you do want to buy me a coffee or so on Patreon, then that would be appreciated. Okay, that's it. That's all the batteries fully connected now, or power storage units, which means the percentage should have dropped. But it's up to 46, so that's pretty good. We have quite a lot of capacity now. Younger me was furious on how people are not updating mods sooner. Current me has so much respect for people when. Thank you. Currently using Sky UI, Infinite Nudge, and Doggo Carrier. Ah, Doggo Carrier. I've resisted that one. I'll work within the challenges of the game itself. I do use Sky UI, mostly these days for just getting the right time of day for screenshots for thumbnails and things. I do use Fixit Cam, but I haven't really used it much lately. Yeah, okay, I'm going to turn global illumination off now. It's nice. How has the stream been looking while it's been on? Has it been okay? I might review the stream back and see how it's looking. It hasn't felt terrible frame rate wise. I think it is a bit smoother and crisper with it off at the moment. But I'm hoping 1.2. Yeah, that is quite crisp at the moment. It's been okay, looking good. Didn't feel that smoother before. Okay. You got there 30 seconds ago. Thanks, Legaligan. Yeah, I think this it feels smoother now already. So, okay, so we finished our fancy wall around the perimeter. So let's see, how is it looking? Finish with that now. I think we can delete these now as well. Okay. Okay, and don't punch the desk. Right, so that's looking pretty good. So next steps, I want to zoop all this like fully in, but I don't need to do every increment, so I need to figure out how frequently and how I'm going to structure that. I'd like to put something in the center, like a little office or a lookout or a headquarters or something. And I also need to fill in this gap here, even if it's just plain foundations. That is going to be a little challenging because this is a 5-degree turn, which means there's 15 degrees between there and there, which means if we halve it to make something flat across the back, it's going to be 7.5 degrees, and if we put any machinery on that, that's going to stuff with things. Pit of Death is complete. Is this an effective use of space? Not really. Is it drop get yours?
I have been
Absolutely.
told that a dinner break might be needed. I am not sure that this is productive.
Build a control tower,
Think
yes.
of all the
yes.
puppies and kittens.
Yes, I was thinking of a control tower in the center of some sort. But I think after I will just do something simple in here, maybe with an access stairway down below. We can blueprint something I think that would fit in here with a bit of fiddling. And we can do that, and then we'll do a control room in the center. Okay, what is the time? It's 9:30. That's fairly late, but it's not going too bad. I'm going to sit up here. Actually, this is probably less safe up here because I did hear the hogs below. Yeah, so I'm going to pause here for dinner. Russ is going to bed, is she? Good night, Russ. Sleep well. We on for some golf tomorrow, I hope. Hopefully I'll be awake in time. And I'm going to be AFK for about 15 minutes. Yes, golf good. I'm just having a quick dinner and we'll be back to continue the build after this. Thank you for watching so far.
Juggler _0 horsepower is now lurking.
Smile for the camera, doggies. G'day everyone, my name's Dortimer. I'm here with a quick guide to the recent update for UEVR enhancements, the Satisfactory VR mod. I recently released version 1.0.3, which added a few new small features that may not be completely obvious when you first load up. So this is a guide to quickly go over those and give you a bit of a demo of what they are. So the first enhancement is adding a build HUD to the heads-up display to help people while they're building. Now, I'm a big fan of zero HUD in VR, which is why by default you don't get anything. And usually all the information you need is on these wrist menus here. So if you're wondering about controls, for example, all of these actions here, it actually tells you what the controls are right there. There's also hints on the back of the wrists that tell you what controls do what, and these will change based on what build mode you're in. So if I press the lower left button there to get into dismantle mode, you can see the options on the back change and the menu here changes to say I'm in dismantle mode. So similarly, if I'm building, the icons will change. It'll go into build mode here and it'll tell you all about what you're building. If you change mode, it's all shown right here. But a lot of people, including myself, just tend to have their hands by their side and they're just pressing buttons and they're wondering what's going on, because there's not really any feedback right in front of you. So to help beginners and also to help advanced people, I've added a build HUD. So this is on by default. I've turned it off for this intro, but it can be changed either to on or off over here. So there's this new option to show build state in HUD. By default, this will be on while building. You can have it so it only shows when you have the full HUD active. This is when you hold your hand to the side of your head and press script to toggle the HUD. Or you can turn it off completely if you really don't want it. But by default, it's on while building, and I think this is a good setting for new people, but also, like even me who's got, many hundreds of hours in VR, it's actually a useful new tool. So now, if I press that button on the left to go into dismantle mode, there's now a pop-up on the interface that says, hey, you're in dismantle mode. So it's a bit of instant feedback to say what you're currently doing. So if I start building, it'll show you I'm in build mode. I've actually got Zoop turned on at the moment. So if I turn Zoop off, that's shown. So the information shown is showing the minimum information possible. But if there's any custom setting like Zoop mode or anything like that, that will show up on the interface here. If I press the top left button to enter nudge mode, you can see the HUD changes to show nudge. I should make that say lock because not everything can be nudged, but everything locks. And I'll probably do that in a new update. But for now it says nudge and basically means it's locked. So now you're in nudge mode and you can nudge things around. Okay, that leads us to the next new feature, which is a new way to rotate buildings when you're building something. So let me just come in here and let's say we're building a constructor. And it's like, well, I don't want it this way around. I want the entry point on the right and the output on the left. So there's a number of different ways you can rotate buildings. The first and oldest way is shown on the menu here, which is the right stick and you press down. So when you press down on the right stick, it shows this little indicator of how you can rotate. So then as you rotate things, you can see for each nudge it rotates around one click. So to rotate it from this way to the other way, nope, not that way, come back like there, and now it's rotated the right way around. In 1.0 we added radial menus, and so another way to rotate was using the top left button on the left controller. So if you hold this button, you now get a radial menu, which is a lot more intuitive and easier to use for most rotations. So it's very easy, you just pick whatever you want. So if I want this reversed around the other way, I know that I can just hold that button down, move my hand up to the top, which is 180 degrees, and now we're rotated the other way around. Now the new method is both more complicated and simpler. So first, see how I've got the snap icon on the left hand there? If I hold that button down, I'm in snap mode, but I also have this new hint that says I can rotate by pressing left and right. So I can just go over here and press left twice and I've rotated, or I can press right twice and I've rotated. So no accidentally rotating more or less than you want. Like if I hold left, it just does one rotate, that's it. So you can very precisely rotate exactly how much you want. So let me just put this down here. So this is great for things like even things that don't have a snap mode. For example, if I'm putting a lift down, lifts don't have snap. But if I was building here like this, and it's like, well, that output is in the wrong way. I can hold snap even though lifts don't have a snap mode. And then I can use that left and right to rotate things around. So it's really useful, you know, if you're putting down conveyor splitters. Let's put one down at the front. Actually, let's put a merger down. So let's go merger. And it's like, well, that's the wrong way around. I can hold down snap, press across, and usually I will lock it into place and nudge it to where I want. But I can very easily hold that snap button and rotate it around. So this works for putting down foundations as well. So by normal, if you use this R down menu, you can rotate 45 degrees. And if I use the rotate menu here, it will do 45 degrees. But the problem is if I hold snap down, it's not 45 degrees, it's actually 5 degrees, because this actually does have a snap mode that affects the rotation, which is really good if you want to rotate something by 5 degrees. You know, if you're trying to get that precise thing. So let me just reset it back to the start. So say I'm here and I want to go 15 degrees, I just go left 15. I can lock it in place to make sure it's in the right place. Yeah, looks good. Build it. Oops. Done. But what if I want to do 45 degrees, but I don't want snap mode on? Well, what you can do is you can hold rotate, and as you can see on the HUD up there, it says now I can rotate, but because I'm not in snap mode, the left stick, right stick rotation is 45 degrees. So I can still rotate it with the radial menu here. So it's a good idea to just load it and then move your hand lower down. So if you're in here, you'll change angle very easily. But if you move your hands off to the side, it takes a lot bigger motion to hold it. So hand straight down, and then you can use your right stick to rotate by 45 degrees. So the third new feature in the mod is support for photo mode. So you can get to photo mode a few different ways. First way is through this little icon on your left panel here. If you can't remember that, or you're not sure, under the info panel there's a big photo button here. And when you click on this, this will now go into the Satisfactory photo mode. So you can look around, and the viewfinder is not exactly the same as what you'll take a photo of, because the camera in VR is different from the camera of the game. But I can just look around and I can use right trigger. So down the bottom there, right trigger will take a photo. So it's like, that's a nice constructor, let's take a photo there. And so we can just look around very easily and take photos. And we can use all the settings. So if we wanted to change this, and let's go into outline mode. Actually, let's not quite go in outline mode yet. Let's change some settings here, just some really random settings like this. Then you can look and say, well, there's a portal over there. Let's take a photo of that in this mode there. There's a bean. Hello, bean. Now, the other great thing about this is you can also use decoupled camera mode. So you press the top left button, or the Y button here, and now I am in decoupled mode, and I can fly around like this outside of my body. So let me just open the settings, and I'm going to reset there, so we're on basic settings. And then I'm going to fly over here to these doggos and take some nice natural shots of the doggos
detected.
in their
Please
environment.
seek shelter.
And my shadows are going a bit odd there. Smile for the camera, doggies. Let's go over here. Yeah, let's not bother with the bean. Bean's just doing something to that van over there. But you can also do poses for your Pioneer. And why is my shadow mode going Burko? So let's come in here and Pioneer. Let's do a pose. And let's go look into the camera. It's like, Yeah, oops, okay, exited camera mode. No, my mistake. Let's try that again. So I've got follow camera on, so wherever I'm looking, the Pioneer will look around and follow as I take photos. It doesn't go too far, obviously. But it's the same as the normal flat mode, it's just now you can do all your photography, or most of your photography, in VR. And also, as I alluded to before, you can also change these image settings. So if you want, you can go to something like outline mode or crosshash or VHS. You can take photos of a bean in VHS mode. Or what else we got? Now, some of these look great in VR and some of them look terrible in VR. But you can do, like, what we got? Noir mode. No, noir mode's pretty good. And then you can turn the settings off. You can actually press A to hide, B to hide the user interface. So you've got full HUD gone, and then you can fly around in noir mode, which is interesting because it still has a bit of red. That's just, and then you can take a noir shot of the majestic bean standing on the control panel. It's interesting how just red bleeds through. I wonder if that's intentional of the noir effect. So that is the UEVR enhancements version 1.0.3 update. Hope this was useful. Thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next video.
Incoming propaganda. Seek shelter immediately. Look lively. It's time to do those stretches and hydrate.
Okay, we are back. Is my microphone on? Peek through the nose hole. Looks good. Oh, hello, Croy. How's it going? Welcome back, Croy. Everybody, if you're not watching Croy, go give Croy a follow, especially if you're a VR fan or a VR curious. Croy is a multi-VR streamer. And he was the OG advocate or poster child for this very Satisfactory VR mod, and still champions at this today, although I haven't seen Croy play Satisfactory VR or not stream it particularly much lately, but there are too many VR games apparently. But yes, Croy has a question. I did see the question. Poster child, Croy the poster child. Croy had a question about the camera mode. I saw. Yeah. Please do clip it. Dippy has made a cup of coffee and a broken icon on my chat in screen, so I don't know what it looks like. So the photo mode is actually Dippy and Croy, while I got you here, there is a new Alpha 2 on the branch for testing with a newly redone left menu here. So if you do have some time, I'd really appreciate it, and anyone else who uses this mod, if you can give Alpha 2 a test. I've kind of changed the behavior of the rest menus as well. So hopefully they're a bit more responsive. I've been trying to use this all evening, and well, by try, I mean I actually have been using it all evening, whereas usually I would use the radial menus. So yes, there is an update that I'm trying to get some feedback on, so I can release it. And I just see I have dinner cursor on my screen. Let me get rid of the dinner cursor. Always comes back at dinner time. There we go, it's gone. So the camera feature. Oh, live open mic's here. Hey, is he? He is. Live open mic. Welcome.
I have it on record that Live Open Mic is an exemplary pioneer, and recommend that you check out their channel.
Dinner cursor. Yeah, the cursor always comes while I'm on my dinner break. Live Open Mic is also an awesome VR streamer. If you, depending on your time zone, Live Open Mic is US time zone, Croy is UK time zone, I'm Australian time zone. So we've got your full time zones covered there. Croy, the photo mode is actually a built-in Satisfactory feature with the decoupled camera. So all I did was I added VR controls to it such that you can move the camera around like this. And you can even open this and you can say, you know, wave for the camera like that, and then you can take photos. So this is actually just the built-in camera mode that's in Satisfactory. So the VR camera follows the camera around. So unfortunately, doing a picture-in-picture is not built into the game, and there is mods that will do it. There are mods that you can have like an extra view in your Satisfactory, so it might be possible. 1.2 has also added a selfie mode, and I have no idea how to do selfie mode in VR because your camera perspective is always either the camera or the Pioneer, and if you're moving around as the Pioneer, then you can't have the camera external. I think that would be disconcerting. So ideally a selfie mode in VR would be you'd hold the camera up and you would actually see a picture on there of the reverse view. Now that's a lot more complicated, but not impossible because certain mods have done that before. Second person mode. Well, just in general, moving in, like if I'm in this camera mode here with decoupled camera, this is moving the camera around and not the Pioneer. So if this was moving the Pioneer around, I suppose I could have like a third person mode. So you could toggle between camera movement and Pioneer movement. Ooh, maybe. Possible. I'll have to think about that. Maybe there's something we can do there. But no, won't be before 1.2, that's for sure. Hang on, let me just adjust my headset. Okay. Streamers everywhere, yes. Watch those cogs going off his brain. Yes, lots of ideas, not enough time, too many hobbies. Croy, I did not play Skate VR today. I thought about it, but I was actually completely knackered today. I spent most of the day resting and recovering. So this evening is sort of the best I felt all day. So no skateboarding, virtual or otherwise, for me today. But I have not forgotten, and I'll keep it in mind. Yes, well, I've created... I would love to be able to create machinima, and it's like... One thing I'd like to at least do is if I can... I want to be able to map the arm movement here to the arm movement of the posed Pioneer. So you could come around like this, and then you could do custom arm movements. That's probably the first step, and I think I can do that, because instead of moving the arms on this model here, I'd move the arms on that model there to match the live model. So I think that is probably the first step I would go to. And I think that would be at least useful for custom poses. Having movement though as well could be interesting. I'll have to consider that. But attaching the arms to a different origin point I think would be the first goal that might be possible. You're not a mod person, you prefer games in a little bit. This is awesome. Thank you, Joseph Buckney. I hope I pronounced that correctly. This mod is trying to be as faithful to Satisfactory as possible. This is just a VR mode, so it's basically just a VR implementation of the controls. Hey, where's my wrist menu gone? Ugh, we've broken it. No, I can't release now. Where did my wrist menu go? There it is. Okay. I lost state temporarily from camera mode. That's a bit concerning, but it's back. Small break to do a big break. If you have a VR headset, you should check out the mod. Absolutely. It does require a pretty grunty PC, but it is a very fun mod to play in VR. So we are in the Crater Lakes making a coal power station because we ran out of power. So we have 32 coal generators here, each overclocked to 200%, so we have the equivalent of 64 here. And we've just finished doing these sexy blueprint walls all the way around. And we're working on architecture tonight. Basically, last night we got everything functional, and now we're trying to make it look a bit prettier. So the next thing I wanted to do is kind of something in this area here, in between the generators. And now this is going to, as I was explaining before, this is going to be a little complicated because the angle between here and here is 15 degrees. So if we do something straight across, it's going to be at a 7.5 degree to the world, which may cause complications. We shall see, but we can experiment and we can try. So we can at least, let's try here, back to number 1. We can use our good old measuring stick to do something from here to here. Now, I would like to blueprint something, but first of all, I start experimenting out here on the real one. So if we get our beam and connect it point to point, that is exactly straight, obviously, from that point to that point. Here on the VR skater, small. I might have time today, tomorrow to assist with testing. Awesome, cool. Yep, I've got the change notes in the Discord. It's just, so the big changes are this menu, the layout has changed, so I'd like some feedback on what you think of the new layout. Basically, these used to be like full width across, and I noticed people struggling trying to access the stuff that's on the far edges. So I've changed these wrist menus to be more vertical and less wide. So that's why these icons are now at the top rather than sitting alongside the tabs. Both panels, I've changed the position. So they used to be hovering over your hand, and now I've moved it to be over the wrist. And I've changed another bunch of logic around these menus. So hopefully they will feel better and be more reliable. The other change is on the build menu. I now have a cancel option and a build menu option. So this is a pet peeve of mine, is that it used to just show the buildables, and I'd go, I want to build a miner, and then I'd realize, oh, I'm in the wrong menu, but there wasn't any way to back out of this menu. So you'd have to pick something, then cancel, and then go into the build menu. And I got tired of that. So now I've put in a cancel option, or you can just jump straight to the build menu from that radial menu there. So those are kind of the two main changes. So they're pretty small, but if I break them, they would be bad quality of life problems. So I'm hoping that they will be working well for people. But as I was saying, I kind of need it to be rock solid before I can start working on the update for 1.2. So now I can snap a foundation to each end of this and nudge it across 4x4. And this will give us wow, that's nearly spot on. That's, why is there a second one down there? That's amazingly close. Did I jam some perfect math or something? Normally there's an overlap in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it's shorter. Hello, piggies. But it is actually an even number across. That's astounding. Which means there's actually a center point, which is really useful. I'm in vertical mode, that's why. This is running a Quest 3 DBJ Mr. Jersey. I do have Valve Index and Satisfactory on Epic. Cool, cool. Yes, you can definitely use a Valve Index and Epic. Croy VR himself used to use a Valve Index before he upgraded to a Somnium. So we definitely have people who are using Valve Indexes and using Steam VR. Yes, I do multi-stream live open mic. And it works pretty well. And now I'm actually allowed to share chats between both streams. Isn't that amazing? Such progress. So yeah, that's why I have the chat on the screen as well. So it's a combined stream across both YouTube and Twitch. So yes, I'm using a Quest 3 with virtual desktop to my PC. And I'm using the OpenXR. Yes, YouTube can see your chats on the screen, on the combined screen there. I'm going to see people want to stream. I open both and leave it both running. Oh wow, that's impressive, Juggler. Hello YouTube, live open mic says. So what I was thinking of having here is sort of an access walkway. Given the short space here, I want to avoid that. So it might be better to have it at this side, kind of angling down like that. Damn right, it's progress. Twitch is slowly waking up, yes. Joseph Buchanan, hi Twitch. Hey, gamer M1M7H. All right, leaving a lurk while I get breakfast. VR seems to be fun. VR is a lot of fun. It's a great escape. It's a great world to inhabit as well. This planet of massage 2ABB, which is the setting of Satisfactory, is a beautiful place to inhabit. Full of stingers. And stingers in VR are no joke. Touching grass and going out to see real people. Don't mind me asking, how do you bring up your build menu and everything? Yeah, give me a second. So there's a couple of ways. Whoa, Dippy! You're trying to trigger the whole audience here. It takes a little bit of getting used to the controls, but it's actually, I find it easier to build in VR now than I do in flat. Helping a friend out as I go to work, I leave my PC on in his stream. Ah, okay, cool. So there's a number of ways you can access the building things. So there are these wrist menus. So the ones on the right are sort of your actions. So you can access your inventory. You can switch to dismantle mode here if you want to dismantle things. And you can holster things. You can toggle your flashlight. I almost never use this because there's shortcuts to doing these things. So you can see there's a button label below that tells you the buttons that are the hotkey. So if I want the build menu, it's A, and A is actually on the back of the wrist here. So there's icons on the back of the wrists that also tell you what the buttons do. So if I just press the A button, I get the build menu, and then I can pick what I want to build and I can build it. But the A button, if you long press it, will actually give you the quick build menu. So here I can just quickly go, I need a foundation, build it, and then if I want to change, it's like, I need a lift, change it. But if you don't like the radial menus, there is also a build on the left wrist menu here, and this gives you access to all your quick menus as well that you would normally have on computer keyboard. So some people like this as a way of picking what they're building instead of using the radial menu. So there's a couple of different ways you can get at the different controls. Stingers, yes, stingers. You quit Skyrim VR at the tutorial game when you saw the spiders. Stingers, when they jump at you, are no joke. Render distance is low and the gameplay is hard. There's a glasses add-on, you can get to fix that. Oh, okay, the outside blurriness. Right. So yes, and you've got sample mode, so you can quickly, easily copy it and sample bits and pieces. So most of your standard Satisfactory controls are there. Once you start building as well, you can also like switch between pieces very quickly and easily. So I might want to put this piece here like this, but I might want to sample that. Wow, even the heights match up. I've jammed a lot of stuff correctly in this build. Okay, so I'm thinking something like this for the middle section, just a simple access walkway to go down to the lower level. And come down here and then walk around under here. Still got to fix these gaps, but these foundations are kind of on the ring of the circle just to help line everything up. So I don't need to keep those long term. So I think if I start making a blueprint based on this, that'll be a good start. I'm still amazed that it's actually 5 across. That is serendipitous. That's the right word. Does fly mode still work with it? Yes, yes. I haven't unlocked jetpack in this playthrough. I do have the jetpack, but I did the community have a pass it on event where they use pack utilities with fly. And so if you are using fly mode, yes, it does work in VR. Okay, so this is 3 across. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can fit this whole thing on a blueprint maker. Although, we'll probably want to manually build the back one and then attach the blueprint to it. So we need to get the spacing right. And then like these I've got built-in floor, I can build in the floor as well as part of this. So I'll use this as a template and then start making a blueprint based on it. I mean, I wonder if I could just snap a whole blueprint to that bar. Maybe? I'll have to experiment. I mean, how wide is it? 1, 2, 3. It's only 4 wide. So we've actually got plenty of space. I might want to go a little bit that way though, so we can overlap with that. So maybe I'll bring it in half from the back just to give it a bit of room. Just ask Claude. Apparently there's also a sun. It's dangerous out there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Actually, I'll clear it. I'll start with a blank. But what I'll do is I'll build one of the diagonal walls we have because that will give me the right heights automatically, because that's already figured that stuff out. So if I go with one of the plain ones... Just shove that up to the corner. Actually, I don't need to build it that high. Because basically this black here is that lower surface. So I could go lower than this. Although probably doesn't matter. Hang on. Play this game every day and I think you just sold me on trying it out in VR. Awesome. Quest 3 and Quest 3S, yes. On the Quest, it works better if you use Virtual Desktop to connect to your PC. Now, Virtual Desktop is paid software. You can use either Steam VR or the Quest Link software, but the Virtual Desktop software gives you much better performance. But if you check the mod info, and you're on YouTube, so if you look in the YouTube description, there's a link to the mod there, Mr. Jazzy. And there's a install guide and there's a wiki there with information and troubleshooting as well. So good luck getting it working and I hope you have a good time. Also, like the controls do take a bit of getting used to. If you start a new game and go through the tutorial, it will actually sort of step you through. I've changed the tutorial to have basically a VR version of it. So if you redo the intro in VR, it will go through and give you tips on using all the controls. So that could be a good way of initially trying out the mod and learning the new controls. Hey B-Merc, how's it going? Virtual Desktop for Satisfactory in VR, yes. Very nice, Mike. With OpenXR specifically. Okay, so I've actually lowered this a bit. So for this top section, I'm so looking forward to getting a hover pack. So that's the top, so actually we want this 2 thick. I have 4 meters, no. 2 meters, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that should be our surface level. Mike! And live over Mike, if you're curious but don't want to build anything, I can give you a late game save and you can just fiddle around and have fun with a late game save. I've set up a nice little thing I call the Swamp Safari. If you just want to go and shoot some stuff and not build factories, the Swamp Safari is a magical place. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But starting a new game, there's still plenty of to do. You can run around and have fun, so. And I think it's on sale currently. Yeah, virtual desktop. Excellent. You should be set. So yeah, Quest, virtual desktop, and pick OpenXR when you use UEVR, and you should be. It's criminal to play this and not build though. True. And you play it however you want, Mike. But if you do just want to have a bit of a sightseeing tour, there's also multiplayer. So Croy and I could load into a multiplayer game with you, Mike, and show you around. Some people don't leave the first planet in No Man's Sky. I think I'm finished with this blueprint now as a reference, although I might copy some of the parts off here. The signs I can copy from down there. And yeah, as I've seen you enjoy building stuff in No Man's Sky as well, Mike. So, and again, you don't need to make something as detailed as this. You can just slap down foundations, spaghetti conveyors everywhere. There is no wrong way to play Satisfactory. How deep did I want this? It's like 3.5, I think. 1, 2.
Azure Ren says, the only wrong way to play
3, 4.
Satisfactory is to not play it at all.
To not play at all. Thank you. Okay, so it's 2 meters off 4. So if I make the bottom go all the way, that will overlap nicely, and the top I bring back 2 meters. So 2, 3, and then bring this one back 2 meters. Although it won't be 5 wide at the top. Oops, almost fell off. It will only be 3 wide at the front, then 4 wide and probably 5 wide and 5 wide. 3, 4, 5, 5. Sorry, we can't really be 4, can we? It can be 3.5 though. Started a new save last night in 1.2 experimental. Okay, cool. This mod does not work in 1.2 yet though, and it will probably be a while until it does work in 1.2. So all mods are broken in 1.2 at the moment. And it will be a bit of a process. Currently I'm waiting for the actual modding tools themselves to be updated, and until those tools are updated there's not much I can do. VR forms part of my retirement plan. Yep. Gotta have clean hair. Where was this lined up? Was it lined up here or lined up there? People are distracting me. Okay, so the stairs were actually lined up with the front foundation, and then we had a small gap. Okay, we can do that. Oh, keep going, Jetpack. You can do it. And that was the white and red finish. Real talk, April is packed. Did plan on finally giving this a go in late spring. Awesome. Corey knows I don't particularly do a lot of modded VR gaming, but this mod addresses most of my issues with VR mods. That's the intent, Live Open Mic. This is supposed to be as close to a native VR game as I can get it. And humble brag, I think this is a better VR implementation than No Man's Sky. I took a lot of what worked in No Man's Sky, and then I threw out a lot of what doesn't work in No Man's Sky to come up with this. I've got a sub from you and a like. Cool, awesome, thank you very much. And keep watching this space, because once there's 1.2 news, this will be the first place that I'll be testing that out and trying it out. Okay, so I think space-wise, and it looks like the 2.5 degree angle is not going to mess too much with this, because we're not building any machinery on here. So let's not clear blueprint, that would be bad. What did we call the other coal power one? Oh. Oh. Let's call it between. It's technically architecture feature, I guess. And we've finished with those walls. It's kind of a slab of concrete. We could go with a slab of concrete icon. Right, now it's saved. Accidentally delete it. Succeeded in coming out of that No Man's Sky comparison. Thank you, thank you. Genre of game performance on your PC, yeah. Don't have any games I'm reviewing, so I'm actually looking at trying the RE9 mod. Oh, good luck with that. New upgrades will help you with some of that VR. Yes, a 5070 Ti should do pretty reasonably. Ever need help testing? I can help with that. Awesome. DBJ, Mr. Jazzy, if you check out the wiki, there is links to the Flat to VR Discord. The Flat to VR Discord has a channel called SF Join, and once you join there, you'll get access to the Satisfactory specific channels for this mod. So I don't have my own Discord. We are part of the Flat to VR community at the moment. And so all news, updates, experimental builds and things like that can be on there. Or as I mentioned, if you follow me on Patreon, I post messages about updates on there as well. But for the most iterative feedback and chatter, the Discord is the place to be. Okay, let's see if this actually works. Can I snap to... Ooh, I can. Except it's backwards. Is it going to be centered at all? And that's centered, not centered like fine roses or anything. Okay, it's out by 1/2 meter when snapping to the beam. That's fine, we can do a 1/2 meter nudge. That's it? That's all it takes? Ah, oh, cool. Surface to land on. Resident Evils were your first VR mod experiences. Count on one hand how many mods I've played outside of that series. Cool. Is there a command to bring up the Flat to VR Discord? I mean, mod info will take you to the mod page. And that page does mention the Flat to VR Discord. But you can just go flat2vr.com, I think it is, and that will take you straight to the Flat to VR Discord. So now if we look under here, our slab of concrete has kind of merged over the top of the other ones. It's actually not even Z fighting, that's impressive. So we now have a nice lower floor level here. And it does line up with that. Okay, cool. So we could actually put some pillars on the corner and they would fit in. And I picked the one spot in the entire map that doesn't have the conveyor belts going across, so I can't test how well they look. But overall, that worked quite well for a first stab. So we have a bit of a gap there we need to fill. How did we fill that side but not the other side? That's interesting. And we need to fill that gap there and put some more walkways around. Yes, I am from Australia. I'm from the west coast of Australia. Yeah, so let's take out that one and let's put in a 1/2 foundation. This was 2 meter thick, that one. Okay, that's interesting. Oh no, I just lined it with a different one over there. Okay, that's fine.
Cruel
Indiana,
VR
cool.
is now lurking.
Looking dog needs walk. Back soon. No problems, Croy. There's a little bit of Z fighting. How crazy do I want to go overboard and trying to fix that? Just a wafer thin bit of Z fighting. I can do it. I can drop these just a smidge. So there's a lot of magic tricks you can do with pillars, beams, and road barriers. The road barrier allows you to slide up and down to any height you want. If I put one above it, no, I'll just eyeball it. What's the worst that can happen? Actually kind of turns yellow just when I go below, so if I look for that point there, like that, then snap one of these to the barrier. This is now slightly below by a centimetre, and therefore Z fighting be gone. So now we rebuild the other bits off this, and this will also be tucked in underneath the other foundations. see who wins out of the Z fighting. Unfortunately, the viewers at home do not win. I can ignore minor Z fighting. I know there's some people it really bugs. And if I can demo some techniques, actually I'm going to align this up a little differently so that that line actually lines up with the staircase. Do I need that extra meter there, or can I move that across as well? Let's just check. It can come up, that's fine, okay. There's still going to be a little bit of Z fighting from like that bit there when its tux lines up with the other ones, but that's fine. You can't ignore it, really gets on my skin. Exactly, there are some people that it's just, and like if it's too bad it bugs me. Is that still a little, how is that still a little? Did I not snap it to the right place? And now it's under. There we go. So at least consistent within this blueprint, we have no Z fighting. Killing floor? I keep thinking of Kung Fu fighting whenever I hear Z fighting. Yeah, I think just ooh, we could actually put a whole arch back way here. Ah, because that's from the top, that's why. Where is it? Inverted quarter pipe. Now let's change the material. So if I hold this, I can use the grip and trigger to switch between the different materials. And that one. So yeah, realistically I should put a half width one there. But ah, that didn't take the right color. That's interesting. I think I just leave the back open. Maybe I should have a safety rail. Keep the hogs out. This is actually carbon steel coated plastic concrete. Benjamin, hello, g'day. G'day if it's an Australian accent. Or Struth. Okay, so that's a bit tidier. Got some supports. Is there any other detail we need to add here? Let's save it and we can always test it out. Oh, I deleted the beam, didn't I? I should have left the beam in there just while we were getting things organized. So a beam between any 2 points will get you basically the right angle to go between them, and then you can put a foundation on there, snap it, nudge it into place and get it particularly lined up. And normally when you're going between 2 arbitrary points, it's not a perfect fit, but somehow, completely unintentionally, the math has lined up to make this section exactly 5 foundations across. Or at least as close as I can eyeball, it's exact. So I can just get the blueprint, tuck it on here, and nudge it into place. Throw a ½ meter nudge in there because the beam throws it off by ½ meter. Ooh, that's not centered. What? Oh, it is. It's just these two are overlapped. Looks close enough to me. If we make this one at the front, use the slightly lower one, that would actually make it tuck under these and we wouldn't get any Z fighting here. We still would here, although it's not too bad. How's it hanging? How are your foundations shiny? Well, so step 1 to shiny foundations is use the coated concrete foundation. So this is your basic foundation is this one. And once you get to tier 3 and get plastic, you can get the coated concrete foundation. This is unlocked in the Awesome Shop. And it gives you the basic shiny foundation finish. And then I am using the carbon steel paint finish on the coated concrete, and it comes out as this gloriously shiny grey colour. It is quite nice. I like it. See, if I was thinking, I would have put these sort of supports and built it into this blueprint as well. Although that wouldn't necessarily have been as easy because this is actually 7 across. But the thought would have been good to have there. And I can see there is actually a slight gap there, so this actually isn't 100% end-to-end lined up. But you know what? It's close enough. I think that is fine. Now, we were going to do something in the middle. And ideally, it would be a straight walkway from here. But, as I said, this is a 2.5 degree angle, which means anything we do extending out from the middle of here won't really be lined up properly in the middle. That doesn't mean we shouldn't necessarily give it a go, though. The other option is, if we want to try it true and straight, is we take a walkway from here. So this is the dead center of the flat generators here. And we've got the lower door down below there. So the sensible option would be to actually take from here and go outwards. And that's probably a safer bet anyway, because I guess if you're coming out here, I don't know. Either way, it's not going to fit in this blueprint. So I think this blueprint we can kind of say as done. Again, I don't want to spend too many hours on this, so it's going to be neat. Like, no one's going to come out to this coal power station ever again. I should really delete these floors first. Different. Don't make me jump. How was that? As you're in. You just unlock them? Yeah, it is the shiny ones. They're great even in the default grey, but they look really good with the dark colour on it as well. Azure and trigger to power outage or good days. Do a round walk around the middle, then a stretch going out. Yes, I normally do round middle bits. How did you know? The thing is, like, this is round here, and this is 5-degree increments, and this is basically the foundation around which I made the entire rest of the circle. But this, if you want the middle of this, this is a 5-degree, and this is a 5-degree. The straight line to this is a 2.5-degree. Which is why these blueprints we're putting down now are a little circumspect. If I tried to put machines on something that is aligned to 2.5 degrees, the support holes, the conveyor holes would not line up because the machines snap to 5 degrees. Yes, okay, so that is 40 meters and a smidge. It's like 40 meters and a few centimeters. But it's not too bad. Certainly acceptable. I need to put this on my bar. Where's my bar? 5. Let's get rid of that and put coal power between. So now I can come here and I can put that there like that. I didn't update those floors. Let's go do that first. That one and that one, we line up with that one, because this was a centimetre or two lower, so that would help it tuck in and reduce Z fighting on the corners. Maybe we should just make the middle one as well, because it technically kind of tucks into the rest of it as well. Might as well quickly redo this one. Oh, I've got it on my wrist here. Yeah, it's out by a couple of centimeters. That should go below when I build it.
Incoming propaganda broadcast detected. Please seek shelter.
Yes. Although actually it shouldn't have been a problem because this one here... see, this is slightly higher, this one here. Because I raised this one slightly higher so it would sit above the white. And if that is zooped down to here and we're attaching the pillar to this to there, that might be why. This whole thing might be slightly higher, which is why this is hiding all the concrete underneath. And there's no Z fighting there. So unintentionally, Z fighting. Yes, that sound, it haunts us. Was that an ad break warning I just heard? The chat window's vanished. Are you sure that just everybody hasn't been quiet? No. My chat overlay broken. Yes. My chat overlay does appear to have stopped working. What is going on there, I wonder? Well, Twitch wants me to take an ad break. It has come through. Okay, it is still working. Okay. Okay, Joseph Bunny did say that sound at 10:33, so maybe I was just really slow at responding. But Twitch does want me to take a break, so we're going to take a 3-minute break now, and I'm going to stretch my legs and have a drink. And you can enjoy Twitch ads if you're on Twitch. I will be back in a few minutes. Thank you for watching.
Look lively. It's time to do those stretches and hydrate.
Okay, we're back. I just realised we are getting quite late in the evening, and I'm not as far along as I was hoping, although I guess this was always going to be a bit of a short and tired break because I started late and I can't stay up too late tonight. So I'm going to try and quickly finish this off, and then we'll quickly have a go at seeing if we can get at least a semblance of a control room in the center going, but I've just realized that coming from that side means this is going to be like a whole centimeter that way rather than the other way, if I care about that being lined up or not. Okay, 6, no, 7, no, 5? 5. 10:42 a.m. It's 10:43 p.m. here. It is nearly 11 p.m. We're on opposite sides of the world. There's no... Actually, is there a beam I can copy somewhere? Doesn't need to be any... That's interesting. My turn has stopped working. Interesting. Might be another bug I need to fix before I do the next release. Let's copy a beam from here. Okay. Ah, that's actually the right way around for once. Oh no, it's diagonal. Zoopy is nudging. It was the right way around, and yet the orientation is wrong. It's about the time you start playing this last night till about 3 a.m. This game can do that to you. And put you in a bit of a time warp. Okay, that's going straight forward. Okay, that's about right. I can't remember if I deleted the lower foundations on that last one or not. I haven't actually also checked that it is actually missing the conveyor, but it looks like it is. Yep, look, I missed these. Oh! I'm gonna have to do a similar blueprint with just a bottom bit here, I think, for these other bits. The beams seem to like the diagonal walls, at least. Always lose track of time while playing this? Yeah, it is very easy to lose track of time. When I first started playing this, it's like, I didn't know I had so much time in the day that I could find to make factories. Just realised I didn't delete the foundations at the bottom of that other one. I assume these are lining up in the back corner. Oh, that's the last one. Ah, this is the one we manually did. So I should remove this and build it with the blueprint. Cool. Now if I look from out here, there's actual proper floor areas. I mean, I could leave some of it as open water. I could actually cut this in and have it free flowing. It's not too bad though. Happy with how that showed up. Okay, so very quickly, some sort of scenic tower to look out. That's going to be an interesting thing to avoid. If we can not clash with the plant, that would be good. How do we want to do this? Let's try this menu again. So that black one there is lined up with the door. Actually, these are just easy to straight out go out like this for the main... Whoa, my headset just went off. Yeah. And my headset is back. Okay. That was an interesting blackout. Hang on, I'm going to take my headset off and put it back on again. I think it's wigging out about something. Just give me a sec. That's going to... flash crazily. Okay, let's see if that's any better. If we make it this big, it's not going to leave a lot of room for a walkway around, but if it's just that big, maybe we can squeeze the walkway in. Now, if we only snap to there, probably, that actually doesn't quite look right. Maybe it is right. We're gonna have these gaps here, so maybe we should try it in, so that's a 45 degree, maybe we try it in 30 degrees. So if that's 45, That's less of an overlap on the corner. And if we go out another meter, and we move this out another meter, maybe even another meter. Now let's guess the angle. I reckon it's the black one. Means it's probably the red one on this side. Or am I wrong? Could be wrong. I'm wrong. No, oh yeah, that's right, because this needs to go out 2 meters, that's why it's odd. So the 30's always going to be red? Or are they always going to be black? It's too late at night for math. No, that's wrong. Last one, and I reckon it's the black one. So that's a rough circle. That's probably a decent size to have a bit of an office space. Windows are under walls. Windows are under walls. Okay. Maybe I'll try a frame window for something different. Normally I like the full frame or the honeycomb. But this, maybe it's a triple frame. I mean, it's easy enough to put in a different window if you want to change it up. Now that we've done that, if we actually want entry into here, I mean, we could have entry coming from below. We could make this sort of a double height. Want it to come the other side, please. Yeah, that does kind of clash a little bit with the side. So I was thinking we could have a ramp across from there that then comes into a lower door that then comes up to the top here, something like that. Beanstalk on the wall. That one over there, yeah. And when you give him a whack, he runs around the edge. Well, last time I did it, because he was in the way, he went bolting around the edge like he was on a race course. Come on, Bean. Can you move? Or are you stuck? Move. Oh, there he goes. Oh, he's off. Oh, he didn't go all the way around. Come on. He's stuck again. Stuck on the fence. Oh, well. But yes, there are a lot of beans in here. I think there's 3 or 4. Look, there's another one there. Just hanging around. Move. Maybe I got to hit him at the right angle to get him to go around. But yeah, the other one that like bolted around like he was on a race course. It was funny. I'm going to run out of fuel. It is a bean watering hole. They were technically here first. I am an intruder here. Are these concrete walls also not colorable? Are they annoying like the other ones? That's really a crappy angle there. I wonder if I can... We go out 1 meter. How would that look? Okay, 1 meter more out will actually fit nice and snug. And it'll let us just have a little bit more space. When we come in. Like that. So, will this concrete be able to be colored very white? No! This concrete does. This concrete does not. Did we use... we did... Okay, we've actually already used this door style down there. So it's actually reasonable to use this same wall style here for this one. Let's move all those. Oops, that went too far. Okay. So I kind of like the sunken walkway. I don't know if we want to zip it across quite at this height. Yeah, originally I was actually thinking of having it line up with the floor there, but what I could do is actually bring it to... that's too far. And then I could do like a diagonal staircase down like this. Problem with that though is it does kind of block off the walkway. Whereas if we put it in here, I mean, we could actually use the more gradual ramp up. Yeah, that's right. It's actually not going to line up height-wise, is it? Oops. So the question is that at the right height? Does it need to be higher, or should we bring it lower? Boing. I don't think we need it too high. I think that's a reasonable height. If we bring it down, we'll have more walkway space around that. We're only going to bring it down a meter. If we line it up with this, it's only going to be down a meter. Yeah. I said zoop. Zoop. Oh, it's one meter out. If we bring it out another meter, though, there's going to be a gap on the windows above. Although we do have another meter on the other side as well, so it's not like... Come on, open. Thank you. Basically means bringing everything down a meter. Only 1 meter out. How about 10 centimeters out? I could. I think it's really necessary though. Lowering all this by a meter is going to be a bit of a pain. It's probably easier just to delete all these and re-nudge them. Ah, that's that spare door. I mean, I'm going to read all the floors. Oh, that diagonal nudged. I don't want that. I mean, technically I do, but not by its math. Oh, nope. Okay. How do I want this to look from the outside? I think we're going to have to go with shiny again, although we might want shiny. That's the wrong slope. I'm thinking if I put this sort of ramp on these... Oh, apparently there's no floor there. I'm assuming the slope is not moving to face a different direction. Well, the fact that I can see full width along here looks like it's fine. That's really white. I need to figure out what to do for this bit. I could make these more angled. I'm not going to do custom walls or anything fancy, but I could go with like the tilted tin wall. If I do a tilted 8 meter from that side, I want to go up, I want to go down. Fine, go down that way. Then this one here, if this is a 4 meter, actually if I just do a tilted wall 4 meter, up that one, really? You're just not going to line up with the bottom? Ah, we're almost there. There it is. So that would line up with that. Or I could just do a wall all the way around the bottom. It's probably neater. Okay, so very white. Very, very white. So sure that was the right size. to whatever roofing we may have up here. One thing I did want to whack up here, which we just unlocked in the last session, is where do they hide it? Is it a special thing? Hey, the sun's coming up. Power, not power, logistics. Maybe it's logistics. Organization. It would be under here. Radar tower. Ah, it's actually not super huge base-wise. I mean, we probably will have a very big fat concrete pillar in the middle, but I'll just run this metal pillar now. If I nudge that into the rock, I'm never going to see it again, will I? That's kind of dangerous. Tell you what, let's put one there. Like, I will probably rewire all this later. I'm just want to quickly get this online before we finish for the night. It does actually reach all the way across here. I'm going to do this without drowning. I think I picked the most shallow spot of the water there, so if I nudge it down, it's going to vanish. I mean, I can't just go a different way. Anyone see under the water there? Oh yeah, that's much fatter. Actually, if I bring this out all the way to here. Yeah, my kingdom for a hoverback. I'm sure it's perfectly insulated down there underwater. I'm sure this is totally not an electrical nightmare. Need to upgrade that to a Mark II, probably. Now if I look at the map... Whoa! Look at that! Radar! Part of the problem is I have to come all the way up here to actually interact it to get this information. There are 110 slugs in that circle. Oh, there's 11 summer sloops just in there. Okay, nice. 10 hard drives. Okay, I wonder if that includes the ones I've already collected. But this is also encompassing a fair chunk of the pink forest, and the pink forest is dense with stuff, including these blighters. Okay, 27 immersive spheres. Cool, useful. I can't remember the last time I built an actual radar tower for actual useful reasons. That is a tall blighter, that's for sure. I could actually probably lower it into the building and have the top of the building be there, and it would still probably be pretty impressive. I'm getting smoke up my tush here. So we come in here, up the stairs. I think we need a double window here, because like if I just look out this window here, I can't see the top of the stacks from back here. So we do need extra windows here, although we could have done angled windows. And we still might. I could do clear windows, but I'm trying to avoid just having slabs of glass everywhere. And then we could have, we keep the 4-meter style, and we could have this as our top. Whoops, no, not there. Oh, come on. I think it's the sign of the times. And that time is getting closer to 11 o'clock, if not already 11 o'clock. Oh, look, it's 20 past 11 o'clock. That is very close to 11 o'clock. It's closer to 11 than midnight, at least. So yeah, I can tidy up a bit of a fancy roof there. I like it when the sort of windows overlap like this. I mean, it's kind of messy, but also it kind of works. I could do this glass on the bottom as well if I wanted. Still not 100% sold on the entry from the lower level, but it does mean if I have entry on the lower level that it comes up to a full view of everything. So I am going to wrap it up here. We also don't have a walkway around the outside, and I do kind of like the idea of having an outside walkway. And ideally it would be on this level, which kind of means having doors on this level as well. Unless I have like ramps up from here around. That could be... like if we have this here... how would we do this? This is the problem. These particular things don't play particularly nice with angles. So if I did something like that... see, it's messy. Having a circle with these walkways is tricky to get looking good. Maybe I could come up with something in the blueprint maker. I mean, these can rotate at angles if I hold down control here, so although it's kind of more, so I could have something that's kind of circular around. I will have to play with it. Okay. Lastly, it's bugging me a little that these are orange. Get all of them? I think so. Whoa, 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 close the menu, close the menu. I mean, I could have this come out flat and then come up at the last bit as well as the other alternative that I could do, rather than having the ramp at this end. Cool. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you everyone for watching. So in this session, shorter session tonight, we finished off the entire fancy schmancy wall around the edge, which includes these doors at each of the main set of generators. And the doors, when you go beneath, show that the fancy walls have a metric buttload of power storage, which is almost full or is close enough to full. Hurrah! We've also done a blueprint for the in-between sections, which miraculously was almost a perfect fit of 5 foundations across, so we can delete that beam because the beam is how we aligned it up. And that blueprint included a nice little walkway so I can get down to the lower sections from the upper sections. And we have made a start on an observation deck central lookout point here. This still has a lot of work to do with it. I could make those red. Maybe. So yeah, I will fiddle around with this a bit more. But overall, we have met our power needs. We have bought ourselves a bit of time to make a couple of extra factories. We are now producing, where's the low point? About 13.6. Oi! Cut that out. 13 megawatts up to about 14 megawatts. And this variation is due to the geothermal generators. We're only using about 8. This is a bit rough because our heavy modular frames factory isn't 100% efficient currently, and there's a whole bunch of other factories that I really need to go back and tune so they're 100% efficient. But we do have a few. We got 8, so about 5. Yeah, about 5 megawatts to play with. So the next couple of factories will be the ones for the project parts. I probably won't make them huge. I'll make them enough, or at least the balls that I can never remember the name of, I might just do a tiny little one to get by, because we only need 100. We're going to need a truckload of those in the next phase, so I might put off making a mega factory for next phase. Maybe I'll make a larger factory for the engines, the center goal, because those, I think if we make a decent factory now, we should have enough power, and that should last us through till later in the game. That was a zero in again. Thanks for all the info. I'm going to give it a go. Awesome, awesome. DBJ, Mr. Jazzy, I think you said you were looking at 1.2 though, so you might need to downgrade to 1.1 to give it a go. Albert DeBoy, oh my god, hi, how's it going? It has been a while. I haven't seen you in the streams for a while, Albert DeBoy. How's it going? We're just wrapping up though for the night. We have a nice little coal power expansion, fully functional and operational with a bunch more power storage, so that will do. I think I'm just going to log out here. I don't need to travel home, and I might potter a bit more offline over the next week and sort of pad this out a little bit and spruce up that middle section. I think the rest of it, the outside, I mean, I do need to put like borders along here, and I'll put some similar to here. I'll just manually go through and build some extra columns along here, or maybe I'll blueprint it in 2 parts that I can reuse there. to have that columned look extend all the way around. And I just missed the high bit. There we go. Just downgraded. Awesome. What's you take on the truck rework? The truck rework looks very solid for practical truck factory needs. But I have issues with it in that you can't do fun jumps and you can't use the jump pads with vehicles anymore. They behave a lot more like rails. But that's just from what I've seen. I haven't really played with them much, but I did test some old fun vehicle setups I had, and it's broken all the fun. But as far as delivering from A to B in a factory, they look excellent. They're a lot closer to trains than they were before. Even to the point where factory carts, which you cannot drive over dirt, if you have a trail on dirt, factory carts currently work fine. So factory carts have new traction if they are following a truck rail. So yes, I will be probably streaming again next Friday. I think you won't see this. I'm not going to spend whole sessions more on this particular one here. I think I've done enough of this on stream, and I'll just polish it up off stream. So next time we might go back to the heavy modular frames, finish that off, or we might actually start on the new projects factory, or a munitions factory perhaps, because I still needed to do that. Let me just save the game. Done. Okay, thank you. I will now bid you adieu. I will read out to someone for the Twitch people. If you're on YouTube though, have a good weekend and a week, and I will see you later. Yes, you saw me rant about trucks. Yeah, pre-8 trucks, they have changed the truck's physics for driving as well though, so they may feel better to actually drive in person, but I haven't tried them out yet because all the mods are broken in 1.2. So once again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all your questions and your ideas for this build, and I will see you all next Friday. Hopefully I'll see you back again. And for those who are going to go off and try Satisfactory in VR, I wish you all the best of luck getting it working, and I hope it's fun for you. And if you have any technical difficulties, feel free to pop onto the Flat to VR Discord and ask me some questions, because I check there every day, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. But first, check the troubleshooting wiki first. There's lots of info on the troubleshooting wiki. Jalga 0 HP, thanks very much. Catch you next time. Twitchers. White tone. Anyway, cool. Now I'm going to take my headset off and we will raid out, and I will just end the YouTube feed here. Thank you all again, and have a good weekend and a good week. Stay safe.